Hey, what is up? Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. This is an impromptu Facebook Live that I want to be talking about something that I've been inspired to talk about. It's probably is my latest breakthrough that I finally understand, and it's really hard to understand something that you haven't really experienced it. So a lot of times when we hear about, like, for example, in business, that's probably the first time I heard about, marry the process and divorce the outcome. I think that was what it is, or divorce the outcome and marry the process. And hey, so if you come in and say hi, so then be a little bit social. I know who's jumping on, and if you're watching this replay, I really appreciate you. So just say hi, because I don't normally go on live very often. So today I'm going to talk about the process of detachment and why it's so crucial for us to detach in order for us to get what it is that we want. So I come across a few of the analogy and different kind of examples and approaches that I could see how different people were talking about pretty much about the same thing. So attachment meaning that, whenever we pursue a goal, or whenever whenever I'm just going to put it really simple, when we were, if you're like an entrepreneur and you have a business, or, when you're trying to call, like cold calling, and you get this fear, right? So I used to have this fear when I call somebody and I'm like, like, what if they say no, right? It's because I was so attached to what their responses were, right? So then that's why it holds me back. And I'm going to tell you the reason why that is the case, okay? And everything links back to what it is that we experienced back in our childhood days. So for example, like if we were, the reason why I believe that, that we get so caught up, especially in love, is that, and then if you are able to like completely detach from your love life, like detach from the person that you love, and you just like genuinely just every day you wake up and you go, okay, am I choosing him again? Or, like, is he going to be the one for today? Then I think that's really like a genuine love, whereas like we kind of get this like attached to that one person, and we fixed ourselves into that relationship. Does that make sense? So everything is related back to our childhood days, okay? So everything that we experience right now is the fear of what it is that we are afraid of in the past. So in the past, if you were, that's why we're so attached to our goals, because we're like, if we were to pursue it and if we don't get it, then we're going to get punished, because we were expecting to have a certain grades, we were expecting to show up in a certain way. So when it comes to, with the love life, I realize is that, if we just let the other person reflect back to us what it is that we have to like just fix on our end, because if we believe that everything externally is a reflection from within, then when that happens, then we will attract another person. If that person is not stepping up to the plate that we want to, then someone like the universe will bring another person to us that has the same vibration, right? So the same thing as, for example, today, we went to meet up at an event, and so my friend was like, well, what if I don't want to, like, how long is it? She was asking all these questions about, like, because I think she just, what happens if she wants to go, right? So that's pretty much like the sum up the whole conversation. And so she's asking, what is it the topic's about, who's going to be there, where is it, how long is it going to be, what if I can't speak English, and all these things. And I said to her, we can't make any of these decisions if we don't start moving towards it, right? So we have this fear that, what if we change our minds, right? Because in the past, we weren't allowed to change our minds. In the past, if we have new information, we were stuck to, oh, but you promised me you're going to, follow this through. And that's not always the case, because you can only make your decision at that moment in time with whatever the information that we have, right? We can't make further information if we don't have that. So that's why I said to her, why do you have to worry about something in the future? I have no idea what this talk is going about. Like, this is going to about, this is about this topic. I don't even know anybody there, right? But we were just invited to have this coffee talk. And I said to her, if we're going to go and then if we decide that this doesn't, like, if this somehow doesn't jive with us, then we can leave, right? Like, no one's going to judge you. So then she's like, oh yeah, that's right. Because I said to her, like, it's just, I think we just get so caught up on what the other people think of us, that if we don't show up the way that they want us to. So, and that goes back to our childhood days, when our parents expect us to do certain things so that they can reward us or praise us, or give us food, or so that they don't hit us, right? So I used to get hit, so I'm gonna say it like that's how it is. So then I would used to feel really unsafe with myself, like I don't trust myself, so that I don't get hurt, right? So then I kind of disconnected myself and distrust, just split my consciousness in half, and so that I will just deny that part of myself where, the one that really got me into trouble, right? So when we get into trouble, we disown that part. But what happens is that when we can't disown it, because it's always going to follow us, right? It's been fragmented. And until we can identify and understand that whatever we're happening, whatever we reacting to right now, it's the same coping mechanisms as we have been doing in the past. And if we are not able to look back into our darkness, our shadow self, which means the self that we don't want to look at, the self that, the societal or the ones that hasn't been approved of, right? But it still exists because that was once our truth. Like, that was one we say, I don't want to eat this food. And then your mom will be like, no, you need to finish your plate, right? So then you grow up and you can't trust your body anymore to understand, like, oh, but, what, and then you just overeating because you're like, well, I don't know when I'm full. Does that make sense? So when it comes to, chasing power as well, is that we have this power struggle with our authorities, our caregivers in the past, where we always constantly, always trying to, grabbing onto and not letting go of any old evidence that could put us into jeopardy of putting our guards down, that, we could actually get penalized or, what's the word? Not penalized, punished for it. So we're constantly in our war zone, like war mode. So we're constantly at war with ourselves, and we don't want to let go of these concepts or, the hurt in the past, because if that person to hurt us again, then we can say, look at all this evidence. That's why I feel like crap now. That's why, I don't want to be around you more, that's why you're a piece of shit. So you wanted to hold on to all that baggage. So then that's why we carry it on our backs, and we wonder why we're so tense all the time, right? So until we understand that, detachment, that's why it's so difficult, is that unless you have someone to help you, to guide you through, walking you through the shadow self, like who you were in as a child, to get rid of all this old programming, and understanding that as you build that old belief that when you were growing up with others, then you see it happening, so you believe that's true, and then you act it out, so that reaffirms that belief, so that it just continues on. And until you believe that your new belief is the safer way, then you are not going to let go of the old one, and so you align yourself to the new one. Does that make sense? And that is why it's so hard with detachment. But this universe, you cannot be open to the abundance of ways that these things come to you: power, money, love, material things, until we let go of what we think we can have, so that it can deliver to us what we really deserve, what we truly want. But if we are fearful that we're not going to get anything better, then we hold on to the hurt and the pain, because we feel like that's us doing our job, right? Because that's matching up to the belief that you have to feel hurt to be able to earn something, okay? And again, that is the old program of, the self, the coping mechanisms that we had in the past in order for us to survive. So I would highly encourage you to, look back into your childhood and see which part that I actually said, it rings true to you. Because I do believe that a lot of times, whatever that we are not consciously doing, like what that means is that we're not consciously choosing the better self, the one that like choosing a new decision, then we are no longer creating a new future. But what happens is that we regurgitate the future, regurgitate our reality, right? But deep within our cores, we are creators. So what that means is that we create our reality. We create the experience that we live in by putting the meaning on each things that we react to, or whatever that's coming at us. And if we're not making a different choice, then there is no way we can actually have a different future. So if your future looks like it's predictable, then you're not really creating a future, but you're just recreating the past. Does that make sense? So that's why it's so crucial that we need to integrate our whole being, so that we put all energy into like trusting ourselves that we are capable of making our own decisions now, and not attaching to the approval that if we are not gonna if we stuff up once, that we're going to get hurt again, because that's what happened in the past. That's why we have this perfectionism, right? Because we are scared that if we make mistakes, we're going to get hurt, because we got punished in the past as a child. So with our grown-ass body, it doesn't mean that this inner child is grown if it hasn't been taught how to move on and how to feel safe with itself, right? So everything, like, we talk about the law of attraction. It's awesome. It's amazing, because this is what is under the guidance of, and all this is momentum, right? All it is a little bit a day, the compounding effect. There's so many words to it, and consistency. Hey, Prashant. Then that's the reason why we keep on seeing that. Why do we keep on attracting stuff that we say that we don't want, right? So it doesn't matter if you want it or not. If you say no to it, shout no at it, you are inviting in your life. Okay, because the universe doesn't hear no. So if I ask you right now, do not think of a pink elephant, what do you think first? You have to think of a pink elephant first in order for you to think about it. And if you were driving, and if you said, if I sit next to you and I said, don't crash into the tree, don't crash into the tree, don't crash into the tree, do you really think that you're not going to crash into the tree? Right? So that's what happens, is that we're so used to our parents saying, shout no to us, and said, no, don't do this, no, don't. That's why kids get really curious, because they don't understand the word no, right? You say, don't touch the stove. Ow! See, so that's why they learn from their experience. That's why I teach my kids, they fall off their faces all the time when they were younger. Obviously, I judge by how tall, whatever it is, because they can only learn from their life experiences. I can't teach them anything, right? I can't teach them to ride a bike by reading them a book. They need to get their ass on the bike and then, and make the adjustments and fall down and then pick it up again. So the same thing as, going through life. Like I said, I can't explain to them what a bully is until they go to school and then they experience bullying and they go, you know what? I want to be a nicer person, right? So a lot of times, like, we attach ourselves to these results because we are so fearful, because in the past we got hurt as a child. Okay, and that is the work that I do with my clients, to look back at them and then kind of like peel back the layers to explain to them what it is that you're attracting, what you're attracting, right? Because if you're not feeling peaceful within yourself, then you are just gonna like say no to all these things that are coming at you. But if you say no to all these things that are coming at you, or saying no to whatever the experience that you see from even other people, you are inviting that into your own vibration, your own field, into your own thoughts, and you build around the framework around it. And then therefore you keep attracting the stuff that you don't want. Okay, so a lot of these things, when I first learned about spirituality, it was like, oh, amazing, I create my own reality, amazing. And it was all love and light. And then I realized, oh my God, like, I need to look at the path where the darkness is, because like the universe, in our worlds, there's parts are light and also parts are dark. So right now in Australia, it's nighttime, but the US is waking up, right? The UK is in the daytime. So until we look at it as a whole and integrate that into our own being, and understand that the darkness serves us as well, then we will constantly putting the negative meaning to it, and therefore we're going to keep attracting the negative meaning. And it's not easy, and I can tell you right now, like for example, anger, right? I suffer with anger all my life because I grew up in such an angry, like not just parents, but like my whole family, because that's just how they were, that's just how they deal with things. So then therefore, whenever I get angry, obviously, you know, it becomes, it's not just, you know, maintained within me, but it was almost like spilling out. And anger is a safe, it is a safe emotion if you understand how it serves you. Because if you think that, you know, your body is sabotaging you, then you are literally attracting more things to sabotage about. Again, that is the meaning you put behind it, because that's what you believed in the past, because it's proved to you in the past. Does that make sense? And until you start breaking that cycle and give it some time for new evidence to show up, then you wonder why your life is always turning out to be the same, like, you know, same but different, right? Like just the same thing, you know. Or, you know, have you ever heard of you know, when someone like dumping their exes, and then they just kind of attracting like a different one with a different face and a different name or a different location, but they kind of just having the same experience. That's what it means. So when we attach to you know, that person, is because we think that if we let them go, we're not going to be able to have, like, we're not going to have to have another one. So therefore they feel this void within us because we refuse to do it ourselves. Okay, unconsciously or consciously, we are not filling that void, right? So you have to take yourself out onto dates. You have to make yourself happy. You need to understand what makes you happy. So then therefore, when that right person comes along, because it's all about vibration, now that you're happy, then the universe brings up this person to show you that, yes, you know, this person is happy with you as well, because they're happy with their lives. So if you are searching for somebody else to feel, to make you feel appreciated, and that's why you wonder why you don't feel appreciated, is because you already don't feel appreciated. So when you reach out to that person to get that person to appreciate you, they don't appreciate you, right? That's just how it works. And it's just so bizarre, but until we understand that, and until we understand that, you know, that is what we seek for in our childhood, and until we start to break down all these programming and the way we behave, or, you know, we either caught it, or it was taught to us, or it was modeled by someone else, then we cannot change it for the better. Then we cannot have a better future, right? The one that we actually want. Like, we all say we want the same thing. You know, oh, I want unconditional love. You know, I want unlimited money. I want this and that. But if you really sit with yourself and really feel that feeling, then you go, wow, it's so foreign. Like your body will literally reject and think, oh, what makes you think you're gonna get, you know, $1 million, or, you know, what makes you think you're gonna have this amazing guy, right? Because that's what you've been telling yourself. So until you work with that belief and understand where it's coming from and how it serves you, oh my goodness, it just fell off. I don't know, there's something wrong with this thing. It's keep falling off like all day today. Then it's going to be very difficult for us to actually attract the life that we want, you know, whether money, power, influence, and obviously, you know, like the love of your life. I think like that's like, and like the friendships and the relationships that we have in our lives. And for me, I feel like life is all about the relationships, you know, like the quality. There is a study, if you look up on TEDx, I can't remember, I think just like TED Talk, that it says that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships that you have in your life. So if you are not having, you know, real friendships, real relationships where you can just be yourself, right, then your life is quite limited, because you're constantly rejecting yourself from inside. So therefore you are constantly attracting these people are doing the same, and you wonder why they are not, you know, giving you that love that you need, or, you know, that appreciation or reciprocity. Oh my god, my English is like blah, 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 today. So I hope that really helped you. I hope that makes sense. If you have any question, please reach out to me, because I do believe that, you know, if I can do this, then you can do this. Because I used to be once a very shy person, so insecure to the max, where I could not look into a stranger's eye to have a conversation. To be able to now, like, you know, whenever, like, if I fall in love with somebody, like, now I understand, like, I don't try to hold on to him. Like, all I want is his presence. Like, all I want is for him to be happy. And that if he includes me, then that's awesome. But if he doesn't, then I just want him to be happy. And then they feel this, you know, when they don't feel this pressure, then it's more appreciative than rather than you just holding on so tight, like what I used to do with my ex-husband. Then, you know, you just almost like trying to suffocate the other person, right? And also when you like prospecting for your business, and if you have this neediness comes from the attachment to the outcome, they're gonna feel that as well. But if you don't understand your own story, and if all you want is, you know, for them to give you that like that approval, for you to feel like, you know, you are enough, that they should do business with you, then that's why they don't want to do business with you, because you'd come across as being very needy, right? But if you are like owning yourself and you know who you are, then that's the confidence that really attracts a lot of people, because they want to see themselves like that in you. Does that make sense? So I hope that makes a whole ton of sense. I was just really inspired to bring up that topic today, and a lot of that is, you know, come from a lot of my breakthrough. I had so many breakdowns like this whole year, but every single time that happens, it's like you're building up your emotional body, right? So when you build your physical body, you are breaking down your muscles to build up your new one, and the same as your mental body, and the same as your emotional body. So to train yourself, you must be able to, you know, get yourself yourself a PT, like a physical body trainer. Or if you have like, you know, you need help with emotional body, then that means that, you know, you need someone to guide you to go through what it is that, you know, that you need to break down, so that you can have a breakthrough, so then you can have this strong emotional body for you to thrive, right? Same as your mental body. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have. Like, I'm really thirsty right now. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. If you have any question, please hit me up. I would love to talk to you. But for now, stay awesome. Mwah. Bye.